Hello, hello. Hi, and welcome back to my stream. It's been a lovely week. I hope everyone's been doing well. Also, got some great news for people who had already jumped in the Bitcoin wagon. Bitcoin is back up. Bitcoin is up to $77,000 to $79,000 area again, which is amazing. I don't know if you guys remember, for the last month, it's been in the 63, 65,000 range. And it is bumped up more than $10,000. And that is so cool for people who are already in. If you guys bought it when it was low, amazing. If you haven't bought it yet, yeah. It honestly, sorry guys, I am a little bit under the weather. But yeah, no, for anyone who's already in the market and who bought recently in the last month while everything was like on an all-time low kind of vibe, great feelings, great vibes. You guys probably had a very good payout. But yeah, so Ethereum has also moved back up above the $2,000 mark, which is cool. And then market sentiments have shifted significantly, with fear and greed index now in greed territory at around 72. So Bitcoin ETF inflows have also returned strongly, showing renewed institutional demand, which we love. And then in traditional markets, US stocks finished higher on Friday, although the S&P 500 still recorded its first weekly decline since July. Okay, and then for crypto traders, the big things to watch this week are Bitcoin's ability to hold above the $77,000 level, continued ETF inflows, and development around US crypto regulation and Federal Reserve policy. So that's kind of like our little update of what is happening in the world, because I haven't seen you guys since last Tuesday. But yeah, that's kind of what's been happening. A friend of mine came over for dinner, and it was really cool. We don't normally talk about trading, crypto, anything like that. And for the first time ever, she was like, oh yeah, I was able to start getting into trading. I bought some Ethereum, and I was like, oh cool. And I actually had something of value to add to the conversation, because for the last 2 months I've been doing self-taught SuperEx trading, and it's just opened my knowledge for what is out there in cryptocurrency and the stock market. And it was just kind of cool to be able to add to the conversation in a way that I hadn't in the past. And I was like, yeah, I like that. And then I even told her, if you want like a daily update of what's happening in the market, come join my live stream. I did tell her, and did a shameless plug to be like, yeah, come watch. And she was like, what time is it at? I'm like, yeah, you don't want to. So could have had her watching, but then maybe for a future live stream. But yeah, I hope you guys all had an amazing week. As I said, I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm a little bit congested. I didn't think I was sick, for the last week or so. Even last week when I did my stream with you guys, my throat was feeling just a little bit funky. I would clear it every so often, maybe have a little cough to clear it a bit. But yeah, and then the last 3-4 days, it kind of took a turn for the worse, if you want to say. It's not bad, but just my congestion levels, in the morning and at night, I'm super, super congested, which has not been fun. And then my throat's definitely been more irritated. But I can still have conversations, and what's quite important is, because my work, I do a lot of audio recording at home. Luckily, I don't have a deadline until today, so I don't have to get to that till later. But I normally would have done it on the weekend when I had more time. But I tried to do some 3 days ago, and a job that would normally take me 2 hours took me way longer. So I'm not really looking forward to getting back into that, but baby steps. I might sneeze a fair bit. It's interesting, I never really thought sneezing was a sign of being sick, but boy, have I been sneezing a whole bunch more. And I always sneeze in fives, so you have that to look forward to if we get to do the sneezing. But yeah, no, overall I'm doing pretty good. I just would prefer not to be choo, 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 choo. All right. We got to 4 today. Sorry for the sneezes and the congestion. Someone else might think that I'm allergic to cats, which I'm not. I have 2 fur babies that I've gotten in the last few months. I think it's been like 3 months since I've had them now. And they are everything to me. I love them so much. Definitely not allergic to them, or else I think it would be flowing a lot more. And I put my face in their body all the time because I'm just like, I love them and aggression. I need to get those kisses out. But yeah, no, I don't believe I'm allergic to cats. I think I am just a bit under the weather, which is fine. Okay, but today what we're going to do is what we regularly do, like on our Monday live streams, is I'm going to do a bit of spot and a bit of future trading. And then I think tomorrow we'll do futures and copy trading. We'll see how we go tomorrow. So far the internet's been super smooth today, which is amazing because it's actually raining outside. I don't 100% know how internet works all the time, and I'm like, I thought in the past when I was a kid, when it was raining, the internet would be more dodgy. Whereas right now, it's been smooth sailing so far, touch wood. But yeah, so who knows? I'm just going to go with the flow, and if it has a poor connection, there's not much I can really do at this point. I've done everything I can to make sure everything's as smooth sailing as possible, and I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, my fur baby is having a conversation with himself, and that's totally fine. That's Chunky. The one who's chatting right now is Chunky. And then the one who's sleeping right on her little tree is Minnie Meow. So they both have birth names. When I say birth names, they're the names that we adopted them with. So his is Kit. I think actually technically the full name was Kit the COVID cat. But then yeah, and then Coco is our little one. And then we just kind of, I think when you adopt like fur babies, you kind of realize that you have your own little names that you call them. So yeah, I call him Chunky, and he's not even chunky. It's just compared to like Minnie Meow, he's a little bit on the bigger side. Also because he's a boy, whereas she's just so delicate and just so small. So we call her Minnie Meow because she also has this sweetest little meow. Sorry for the detour. You guys know what happens when you tune into a live stream with me. It's not just going to be about trading. It's also going to be about my life. Ain't that right, sweetheart? Oh, you've been good. I know you have. You're a good baby. Okay, I think we can get straight into it. Before we start, I will actually just share SuperEx website if anyone does want to like register as we go. So I'm just going to pop SuperEx website in the chat on YouTube, so you guys can feel free to click into it if you want to. If not, no stress. Remember, I'm not here to pressure you into doing anything. But yeah, I just want you guys to kind of like have an idea of what the options are you can do on SuperEx. I was pleasantly surprised with how easy it was to register, how easy it was to deposit, withdraw my funds, and do my first trade. It did take time to understand each step, but I really do feel for a platform. SuperEx kind of held my hand and made sure I was really aware of what was happening every step of the way. And that's why I decided to do these live streams as well. So I think that it's going to be quite informative to you guys if you have an interest in it, okay? If not, all good, just tune in and see what happens. But yeah, I have a big interest in finding different ways to be independent and bring in some funds, and that's how I got into doing SuperEx. Okay, let's start with a spot trading. So we're on our spot trading page. Yes, we are. Okay, cool. So this is the SuperEx spot trading screen. I know it can look a little bit busy at first, but it's actually quite simple. And there are only 4 areas you really need to know. So the first one is the top left. We have right here, this is our pair sector. Right now I have Bitcoin and USDT loaded, but you can switch between any token in seconds. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Then we have our big chart in the middle. This is our trading view price chart. It shows you Bitcoin's price action live, and you can switch between 1 minute, 15 minutes, hourly, daily candles, whatever fits your style. And then to the right of that, we have our order book. This shows you every buy order in green and every sell order in red in real time. Don't worry too much about it for now. Like, beginners don't really need to think about it too much, just to acknowledge it's there and then move on. Yes, chunky. And then we have on the far right, this is kind of where our magic happens. This is our trading panel. This is the only area we really need to interact with today, which makes it a lot easier. Oh, I might need to be blowing my nose soon, and I don't want you guys to have to hear that. We'll go on for a little bit, and then I might blow my nose in a second. Okay. So, on our trading panel on the far right, we've got two options at the top. We've got buy in green, sell in red. We're going to be buying Bitcoin today, so click on buy. Then right under that, we're going to see 3 different order types: limit, market, and stop market. I want us to use limit. Why? Because a market order buys at whatever the price the market is right now. You pretty much have no control, but a limit order lets you say, I'm only going to buy Bitcoin if it drops to my price. That's kind of how the pros do it. Be patient and disciplined. We like that. Okay, a quick detour to our left. If you want to trade something other than Bitcoin, this is how you switch pairs, okay? So you just click on Bitcoin USDT that I have already chosen up here, and then this drop down is going to appear. So in the search bar, you can type any token you want: ET, ETH, SOL, BNB, anything. SuperEx has like thousands of pairs. Then these tabs let you filter here by category: spot for crypto, stock for US stock. Yes, you heard me right. You can trade like Apple, Tesla, whatever you like. Then we have the free market, which is community listed tokens and so on. Or you can click any of the popular pairs in the list here. Then you can just scroll on down and have a look at what's happening there. I'm going to stick to Bitcoin and USDT. So I just close that and move on. Okay, back to our trading panel. We're now going to set our buy price. I'm so excited that this price is like back in the 70s, because honestly, it's not been back to this price for probably a good 2 months, I think. Let me actually have a look. You can see on our chart here, so right now it's around 77. The last time it was there was May. Isn't that insane? And that's probably when I started live streaming, because I remember it was around the 78 mark when I first started. So I think that's exactly when I first started my live stream. So if we're in August, May, that's like 3 months of live streams. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting how I've been able to watch this progression. But wow, it really did do a big jump up. Look at that big jump. So like, because I was not paying attention the last few days. Like, I log in and check my numbers maybe like twice a week, but I don't want it to be like consume my life. But that's really cool that it's jumped back up. But yeah, so if anyone had made a purchase for some trading in the last like week or so, you guys will have had a nice payday at the end of that. Oh, I'm so happy for you all if you got into it at the right time. Remember what I did tell you. I know physics always says what goes up must come down. I like to believe it's the other way around for crypto. What goes down must come back up. So when it was down low, it was a great time to get your goodies in and then hope for the best that it's going to go up soon. And it really did. Because, wow, it's been sitting at that 63 mark for ages. Look at that. 63 all the way. So for like a good 3 months, it was quite low. So there's a lot of unhappy people with that price being so low. I know. Good things coming ahead. I love that. Okay, so the price right now is around like 77,000 and some change. I think I'm going to buy it at, I wish I could have bought it at 64. But I'm going to say 77,000 solid. Because I do believe there's going to be some like up and down. So I just put that in my USDT amount here. Do not put it in this amount here, because that's how much Bitcoin you want to buy. That's a very different amount, okay? And then, so that's the price that I'm willing to buy it at. And then, so this pretty much means that I am putting my order in at 77,000. So the moment Bitcoin touches 77,000 USDT, my buy fills automatically. Until then, nothing really happens. I'm in control. I'm not chasing the market, and we love that. And then how much money do I want to commit? So you see the total field down below here. That's how much USDT I want to spend. So for this demo, I'm going to say I'm going to spend 50 USDT. And then once I click it, you'll see what happens. The amount field of Bitcoin automatically calculates how much Bitcoin you'll get. In this case, it'll be 0.00064 of the Bitcoin. You don't do the math. SuperEx honestly does it for you. I love that because maths is no longer one of the things that my brain likes to do. At one point in my life, I was very, very good at maths. But then, when you stop using your brain, that part of your brain so much, you just realize that skill kind of goes down and you're not as good as you used to be. But yeah, just a quick note here. This will show your available balance. I actually only have 15 USDT, but for the demo sake, I like to do some big even numbers. So I put in 50 USDT. So if that was a real case, I would have to do less. I would have to do 15 USDT or less, and I probably would do anywhere between 5 and 10, just because I don't like to go all in. I always like to keep a little bit in my wallet to make sure that I have, if I do lose that, I have options to use a little bit more for my next trade. Okay, so just be smart about it, especially if it's your first time. If you're an experienced trader, go for what you think is right. But if you are on the newer end of the scale, I would definitely take a step back and have a think about it. Okay, now this is the part a lot of beginners like to skip because they see that big green button and they go straight to buy Bitcoin. We want to choose our take profit and stop loss. So right above the buy button, you'll see a checkbox right here that says take profit, stop loss. We're going to tick it, okay? 2 new fields have shown up. The first one is the TP trigger. That's our take profit. I'm going to set mine at 80,000. Oh, I love how big this is. It used to be 70,000 I was putting it at. So SuperEx pretty much tells me there in red that when the price reaches 80,000 USD, it'll trigger a market order and my estimated P&L will be 1.92 USDT. So that means if Bitcoin moves up from 77,000 to 80,000, the platform sells my Bitcoin automatically. I lock in my profit when I'm asleep, when I'm at work, anywhere. Love that. And then our SL trigger is our stop loss. I'm going to set that one at, I'm going to set it at 75. At 75,000 USDT, so pretty much it's the same logic. Apologies if you can hear the train going by. But same logic, but opposite direction. So if Bitcoin crashes from 77,000 down to 75,000, your platform will sell it immediately, and I lose a 1.28 USDT. I don't lose 20, I don't lose 50, my downside is capped. So remember, the message SuperEx shows you when your price reaches 75,000, it'll trigger a market order. Just read that, trust it. The system honestly does what it says, and it's trying to make sure that you are aware of what you're getting yourself into. It doesn't want you to go into a big trade and lose everything in one fellow swoop, okay? That pretty much is how you do it. When we did that in 10 seconds for that little exit plan. So you just want to make sure you always set your TP and SL. It's so important. Then the final step before you click anything is you double check your numbers, okay? Your available USDT is 15. You have to make sure that you've got enough there. I don't, so I wouldn't actually be able to process this one. And once you've double checked all your numbers, you click buy Bitcoin. And that's it. Your order is now live in the order book. You can see it in the open orders tab at the bottom here. You don't have to sit and watch it. The system handles everything. So if Bitcoin hits 77,000, you buy. If it hits 80,000, you sell for profit. If it crashes down to 75,000, you sell to cut your losses. There's 3 scenarios, all automated. We love it. And you're going to be pretty happy either way because you're not going to lose too much. So pretty much that entire workflow was you choose your pair, you click buy, you click limit, you choose your price, the amount you want to commit to, you set your TPSL, and then you click buy. 7 steps, less than 2 minutes once you've done it twice. So yeah, I find if you're new to trading, spot trading is a great way to get into it because it's really straightforward. And once you've done it a few times, it's so easy. Like you just make sure you go through your little checklist and you're good to go. Okay. Now I want us to play with futures a little bit if we've got time. So you can kind of see there's some similarities between the pages, but also a bit of differences. Here you go. Overall, it's got the same layout, but there's a couple new additions to the screen that we'll go over shortly. So this is our perpetual futures screen, okay? Top left, we've got our pair sector similar to our spot. We're trading Bitcoin, USDT perpetual, and you can switch between ETH, SOL, anything just by clicking there. Then the top center, this row is the future specific data, okay? So we've got our mark prices, what platform uses to calculate your unrealized P&L and your liquidation. The index price is the multi-exchange weighted spot price. Funding and countdown, every 8-hour long pays short or vice versa, depending on the funding rate. You'll see the timer counting down, 24-hour change, high, low, turnover. It's pretty standard. Then on the far right, we've got our trading panel. This is where we open and close positions. This is where we'll spend most of our time today. Then the middle right, we've got our order book, our buy and sell orders. For futures, this also matters for our funding rate skew. But for beginners, honestly, glance and ignore it. We just want to know that it is there. Okay, before we open anything, I need a water break. I can honestly hear my throat getting a little bit testy, but that's all right. It'll be fine. I have a big 4 days of work coming up that I'm hoping my voice will be okay for, because gotta keep moving, gotta keep working. Okay. Before we before we open anything, before we start our trade, I want us to pick our margin mode. So in the trading panel, click the button that says, mine says isolated, yours might say cross if it's your first time. And then this pop-up appears, okay? We got 3 choices. Listen carefully because this kind of decides what happens when things go wrong. We've got our cross margin mode. So every position you have under this asset shares one single margin balance. If one trade tanks, the system will pull from your other positions at margin to prevent liquidation. I know it sounds nice, but if everything crashes at once, you can lose your entire future wallet and not just one position. So I don't like that. Then we have our isolated margin mode. You assign a fixed amount of margin to each position. If the trade goes against you, you only lose that allocated margin. The rest of your wallet is safe. That one's quite recommended for beginners, okay? And then we have our split margin mode. Similar to isolated, but you transfer a specific amount up front. If margin drops to equal or below 100%, you get liquidated and the trader can lose all the margin in that sub-account. Once you've decided, you click confirm. But to be honest, my honest recommendation is for your first month to choose isolated. Just honestly, isolated for a long time, because you don't want one bad trade to wipe everything that you've earned, okay? So we're going to go with isolated because that makes me feel safer and I know what I'm doing. Okay, next is going to be leverage. So next to the margin mode that we just chose, we click our leverage. Mine currently says 30 times, but depends on what yours is at. So we have the big count at the top, or we can use the plus and minus to fine tune it, or we can drag our sidebar all the way from 1 to 150 times. Pretty much just read everything clearly. Selecting a high leverage will increase the risk of forced liquidation. So at 150 times, it's 0.66% move against you wipes you out. At 10 times, it's about a 9% move. At 3 times, you can survive a 30% crash. Higher leverage isn't bigger profits. It's smaller margin for the same position size, which means tighter liquidation distance. All right, once you've chosen, you click confirm. My recommendation for first timers, anywhere between 3 and 5 times. You want to learn the platform and not risk it all in one day, and you can always increase it later. For today, I'm going to stick to 30 times because I think that's a good number for our demo. Okay, now we're going to actually set up our order. We are going to use limit order mode. Same as my spot tutorial we just did. It lets you pick your exact buy price instead of taking the market. We like to be in control here. Maybe a little bit of control freak, who knows. Okay, so the price field, Bitcoin's still at around 77,000 and change. I am going to bid 70,000, just like my spot, just a small dip from the current. So if Bitcoin drops from there, my order fills. If it doesn't, nothing happens. I can cancel anytime. Okay, this little toggle down below, cont and USDT, is quite important. Cont means how many contracts. So each Bitcoin contract on SuperEx is equal to a specific Bitcoin quantity, whereas USDT means how much USDT you want to commit. I recommend beginners to pick USDT because it's the dollar amount that we actually understand, and you don't have to overthink it too much. All right, and then for the amount, similar to my spot, I'm going to just do a 50 USDT commitment. That's how much I'm willing to commit for this trade, okay? Okay, look down below. It says our margin is 1.66 USDT. So that's only like $3 and change locked up as collateral because that's 30 times leverage. 50 USDT of exposure only requires 50 divided by 30, mathematics, which is about 1.66 USDT of margin. That's the leverage magic. Small margin, big position, big risk too, okay? All right, now the important section, take profit and stop loss. Just like our spot, we always got to set that. If there's one thing you can remember from this video, make it this: never enter a futures trade or even a spot trade without these two numbers set, okay? It will change your life. You want to make sure that you've got these two numbers set so you're not going to be devastated if something were to happen, okay? It's just smarter going into it. So find the TP and SL little tick box and tick it. And then once again, two new fields have popped up. So I'm going to set my TP trigger at 80,000. I love having these big numbers again. Bitcoin, you are doing well. So I'm currently buying at 77,000. And I'm saying if Bitcoin jumps up to 80,000, it sells automatically and I lock in my gains. I don't need to stare at the chart. The platform does it for me. We love it. Then our stop loss, I'm going to put it to 75,000 USDT. So pretty much the opposite direction. If Bitcoin crashes to 75,000 USDT, I sell immediately and I cap my loss. This is the line between losing some margin and getting completely liquidated. We love that. Okay, only after both those are set do we go click the open long or open short button, okay? Open long pretty much means you're betting Bitcoin's going to go up. Open short means you bet it's going to go down. This is interesting because we just had a big jump up. Like a big jump from 63,000 all the way up to like 77,000. I don't know. I still like to think it's going to go up. So I'd still probably go open long, but it's just, you've got to really have a faith of luck, a leap of faith for this one, because it's hard to say where it's going to go, but I probably still would go open long. So yeah, once you chose open long or open short, you scroll down and this is the positions and open tab. Your orders are going to be here in the open orders tab at the bottom of the screen here. If it's a limit order that hasn't been filled yet, it's going to sit here and you can cancel at any time. And then our positions tab, once the order fills, so if Bitcoin touches my 77,000 bid, the trade moves from open orders to positions. And you'll see your entry price, your current P&L in USDT, liquidation price, and a close button. To close early, you just hit the close button. You can do a flash close, which is the market price, which is instant, or a limit close at your chosen exit price. Once closed, your margin is returned to your futures wallet, plus or minus your P&L minus fees. So if your TP or SL triggers automatically, the position is going to close itself, and you'll see it in our order history here. But yeah, that's pretty much how easy it can be to do a perpetuals future trade. Pretty much what we did first is we pick our margin mode. We chose isolated for beginners. And then we chose our leverage, start 3 to 5 times. I chose 30 times for this demo. Then we set our price, choose USDT amount because that's just easier to grasp and understand what's happening. And then number 4, always set our TP and SL. And then step 5, you choose open, long, or short based on how you think it's going to go. And then step 6, you manage your position from the positions tab. Honestly, guys, it's so straightforward that once you've done it a few times, you could easily do it in a few minutes and grasp it and understand it fully. Just remember, SuperEx really does want you to understand what is happening every step of the way. So they do give you information as to what everything is. Just make sure you read all the fine print. You read the things that are in red. It's really trying to make sure it sticks in your brain so you're not going into something closed-eyed. But yeah, I love how smooth everything went today. I think you guys, if you have watched a few of my live streams, you'll understand at this point how to do it. I think tomorrow we'll try and do a little bit of futures, and maybe we'll go into copy trading depending on how the connection and how the audience feels. Just remember, guys, if you are interested in any of our live streams, if you're watching the live one or the pre-recorded one, don't forget to put comments down below, because then we can help make sure we navigate our live streams to what you guys would like to see more in the future. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow around the same time. And I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. And hopefully we have a good live stream with a smooth sailing connection coming up. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I will see you